Hi, guys. Uh, Good morning. The subject for today is personal responsibility. I came across something interesting this morning while I took my daughter to school, and it kind of made me think um, about what's going on, you know, and just another thing in our society. Um, and anyway, so this morning I was taking my daughter to, I drove her to school and high school, and just like any other morning, the side of the road has a lot of kids riding bicycles to school, which is great. They get exercise, and they are independent. They're on their own. Well, what I saw this morning kind of made me think, because, and this happened at other mornings too. But this morning, two motorcycle cops had the motorcycles there, and they were not stopping drivers of cars from speeding or whatever, but they were stopping students, high school students, on their bicycle for not wearing a helmet. Okay, all right. Now, at first glance, I thought, well, that's great. They are teaching the kids, safety, right? You got to wear your helmet, otherwise, if you fall and stuff, you hurt yourself. All good, right? Until I got to thinking, and before I go on, I want to make sure that everyone understands that this is in no way criticizing the police. Okay, I think they're doing a great job. They're doing their job. Okay, their job is to enforce laws. Okay. All right, a lot of people just don't understand that. They criticize the police when they see the cops out there doing their job. How would you like it if you are being criticized for doing your job, whatever it is that you do? Okay, so I think it's great that the police is out there doing their job, which is enforce helmet laws. Okay, great men and women in blue, no problem with that. They doing their job, good. What I'm criticizing is the law. Okay, the helmet law. And I remember back in the 80s, okay, in late 70s and early 80s was when the helmet laws were introduced for two-wheel, especially motorcycles, and then later bicycles. Okay, there was a big controversy about that. A lot of people didn't want to wear helmets, and they argued. There was big protest. They argue that it is their choice. It is a free country. If they feel like not wearing a helmet, that's their problem. And but then obviously they were voted out. Okay, the helmet laws became law, and so now we all have to wear helmets. When we're on a bicycle or on a motorcycle. On the surface, it looks good, but here's what happens. Here's what it does to our society. Okay. First of all, it is bordering on violating the Constitution, which says you are guaranteed life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Okay. If you don't want to wear something, that's your prerogative. Am I right? Do you infringe on the rights of anybody else if you don't wear something? No, I can't think of any. Why would you be infringing on anyone if you don't wear a helmet? Think about it. If you don't wear a helmet, what would that infringe the rights of people on? Nothing, right? And the reason why they're pushing and they're successful in passing the helmet law is because of insurance, right? The insurance companies are the ones that push for that, right? Because they don't want to pay out. Okay, what happens is whenever an accident happens, everybody sues everybody else. Okay, and the insurance company end up having to pay for it, no matter how frivolous the claim is. Okay, so they don't want to do that. That's why they're like, well, if we make everybody wear a helmet, then the chance of a serious accident is a lot less. Therefore, we don't have to pay as much. That's why. Okay. And oh, by the way, the thing about this country is there's a video online that talks about Princeton University tracked over 20 years of data on voting and whether it has an effect on the passing of any laws or not. And they found that it doesn't matter how many people support a law. Okay, there could be 0 people that support a law, or 90% of the people that vote for that law, the chance of that law being passed is 30% across the board. That's a fact. Over 20 years of data. Okay? It doesn't matter if 100% of Americans want to push for a law or 0% of Americans want to push a law. Okay? The chance of that law becoming law is 30% across the board. Why? Okay? Now, if you look at laws that are supported by big corporations with deep pockets, you know what the percentage is? More like if 80% of the corporations want to pass a law, the chance of that law being passed is like 70%. Yeah. But if 80% of the ordinary people like you and I want to pass a law, the chance of our law being passed is 30%. Doesn't matter. So what does that tell you about what I'm talking about? The reason why we have helmet laws, not because, oh, it sounds great, you know, it saves lives and there's no. It's about the insurance companies that don't want to pay out. Okay? So they have lobbyists out there pushing for the law, and, you know, and that's why there's a law. And then the cops have to be out there to enforce the law. The cops are just doing their job to enforce the law. They're not the problem. The problem is, and it's not even insurance companies' problem, if you really look at it, okay? It's the problem of society, of the mindset, of blaming everybody else. I'm not taking personal responsibility and blaming everybody else. So when you go to court litigation, guess what happens? The insurance company ended up having to pay for somebody that's negligent, okay, for what they're doing, okay? That's the problem with our society today, is the lack of personal responsibility, okay? And because of that, we all ended up having to pay more for insurance, don't we? We pay for everything. Not only do we pay more for insurance, guess what? We have to pay for more cops to be out there to enforce the law. You see that? If there's a lot of laws, there's got to be more cops, right? So instead of cops out there enforcing real laws, right? Real tangible, I mean, dangerous stuff like criminals, right? Robberies, all right? Assault, things of that nature, okay? Or even traffic laws, speeding kills, right? So they got to be out there to enforce the speed limits, okay? That makes sense, okay? Wearing a helmet is your personal responsibility, okay? If you don't wear a helmet, that's your problem if something happens, isn't it? Think about it. Just stop and think. I just came back from visiting another country, okay? And in that country, most people ride motorcycles, okay? Or motorbikes, scooters type. Motor scooters, you know, the Vespas. Right? Some wear helmets, some don't. There are no laws in that country that require people to wear helmets, okay? In fact, I've seen a whole family being on one motor scooter. You got the father, right, in front. Behind him is a little kid. He's like maybe 4 years old, okay, hanging on to his dad. Behind him is his mom, okay? And behind her is his big sister. 4 people on a motor scooter. No helmets. All right, in this country, okay? Now, no cops stop them and say, well, you gotta have a helmet on, okay? And the result of that is what? Very low insurance, okay? Very low cost of living in that country, okay? It helps everybody, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Why? The reason why the cost of living in the United States is so high, part of it is because of insurance. All these things we have to pay for, you know, and I agree that some things we can't get rid of, right? Something we just have to pay. But we just get rid of frivolous things like, you know, personal responsibility, okay? If you don't want to wear a helmet and something happens, you cannot sue people, okay? You cannot sue them for your injury, your head injury, all right? Because you didn't wear the helmet. That's your problem. You caused that. Why should everybody else have to pay for what you caused? You see what I'm saying? And here's another danger of not having personal responsibility for society, okay? Our society now has gotten to a point where the prevailing attitude is blame everybody else, okay? So then what happens? That's how we live our life, okay? We do not take personal responsibility for our actions. All right. So what does it do? Number one, what does it do? What do laws like helmet laws force you? The forcing of you to be responsible. What does that do to you? You don't think anymore, do you? You don't take personal responsibility anymore. Even if you follow the law, you become a robot, an automaton. The law says I put on a helmet, so I put on a helmet. I don't know why I put on a helmet. I just have to put on. And by the way, the reason why I put on a helmet is not because I'm afraid that I get injured and then, no, it's because the cop's gonna get me. That's how it got to now, right? So it takes away your ability to think on your own, okay? To logic, what I call logicize, right? Oh, I'm gonna get on a motorcycle now. Well, I better put on a helmet. The reason why is because what if I fall and hit my head? See the logic train, right? So then with that kind of attitude, with that kind of mindset, you approach life the same way. You think, okay? You think before you act. Today, the prevailing attitude is I don't think before I act. If they make me do it, I'll do it. I don't know why I do. I just do it. Some people don't even do it. And then when something happens, they sue everybody else for it. And then the insurance company is saying, well, I'm not going to pay for it. I got to raise the premium for everybody. Everybody. You know? Is that fair? Why do I have to pay for something I didn't do? Right? You too. Why would you have to pay something that you didn't do? Same thing with medical insurance. Okay, that's a big thing, right? The United States has the highest medical insurance in the world. And yet we rank low, very low, like something like last or something on the scale of quality medicine amongst industrialized countries. Not third world country. I mean, it wouldn't be a fair comparison, right? But among industrialized country, we probably rank last or very close to last, but yet we pay the most. It's because of things like smokers, okay? Smokers chose to smoke, okay? But when they get sick in their later years, insurance have to pay to treat them. Well, the insurance is what? Everybody pays into the insurance, right? Why do I have to pay for your irresponsibility? You chose to smoke. Now you have lung cancer. I have to pay for your lung cancer? You caused it. Why do I have to pay for what you did? See what I'm saying? All right. Why do you have to pay for what I did then? Let's turn it around so you understand. Right? If I chose to do something dangerous, that's my choice. I have to hold myself accountable, right? Why do then I have to go to you and say, no, you pay for my bill because I crashed the car. You see? Now, in terms of car insurance companies know that, right? So they have algorithm that could tell you if you the type of person that drives dangerously, then your insurance premium should be higher. And that makes sense. Right? You dangerous, the chance of you getting into an accident is higher, therefore you have to pay higher. That's fair. Okay? If you don't want to pay higher, drive safely. It's that simple. That's simple. Okay? Why would I have to pay for you? Or let's turn it around. If you still don't understand, let's put it back on you then. If I drive dangerously, why should you have to pay for my accidents? Not fair, is it? Not fair to you. You see what I'm saying? So same thing here. This prevailing attitude about suing everybody and not taking personal responsibility has a very negative effect on our society and on people, because the cost of living now is extremely high. It's all because of all this frivolous stuff that we needn't pay for. And you won't see that until you visit another country where it's not like that. Just go visit another country and you see, you see very clearly, that their cost of living is a lot lower. And if it's high, it's really needed to be high. Okay? If something costs more, it's because it's really needed to cost more. It's justified, basically. Okay? It's not justified, to pay for high insurance because you refuse to wear a helmet. And then when you get into an accident, you sue everybody else. Okay? It's called personal responsibility. So we need to, as a society, we need to think about that. It devastates the entire society. Like I said, it raised the cost of living. It also dumbs you down, right? It dumbs down people. Okay, they don't want to think anymore. And then they just follow what they're told. Okay, so then over time, what happens? If you follow what you're told and not ask questions, the people that are in charge will be corrupt, and you won't know it. You see that? They become corrupt, all right? Or only the corrupt people gets elected, right? And so when they go up into office, they make decisions that favor them and their friends, not you and I, right? So then what happens? Over time, our quality of life goes lower and lower and lower and lower, yet we have to pay more and more and more and more. Well, see, you see that? You see that? So it is a critical issue. It's not about ranting and raving. It's good to rant and rave, but you got to come up with a solution. The solution is start making personal responsibility. All right? And then change the law. Change the law back. If you don't wear a helmet, that's your problem. Okay? That's your problem. All right? So if you hit your head, you cannot sue. It's thrown out of court automatically. Barring something, you can only sue for what you're not responsible for. Let's put it that way. Okay? So let's say you're driving on the road, all right? You don't have a helmet on, okay? There's a big pothole that the city never fixed. So as a result, you go across the pothole, your motorcycle falls over, you fell over and you hit your head, serious injury or whatever, or even death. You or your family, if you died already, cannot sue the city for the damage to your head. Okay? They can only sue the city for the motorcycle falling over. Okay? All right? So they cannot sue the city for death. I mean, we have data now. We have all the data in the world now that can predict, that can recreate that scene and say, okay, based on the size and the hole, the height of the hole here, a typical a motorcycle that weighs the exact same motorcycle as what you rode will tip over and you would experience this force. They have all that data, so you can only sue them on that. You cannot sue them on hitting your head because you didn't wear a helmet. Okay, all right, it's fair. We're just trying to be fair here. Okay, we're trying to be fair here. If you broke it, you fix it. You don't sue everybody else to try to fix what you did. Okay? So yeah, I want you to be thinking about that. Because the cost of living here now is so high now. It's so high in America. In fact, I even go so far as saying it's unlivable. In fact, I'm considering moving to the country I was talking to you about. Okay? A lot of Americans did exactly that, actually. They moved to a lot of different places like Mexico. Some moved to Asia, other moved to Eastern Europe. Okay, because Eastern Europe is still has cheaper living, right? It's unlivable. And how much more, because over time it's still going to cost more and more and more over time, So then does your salary go up like that? No. So eventually you will go bankrupt, living in America. So that's why we need to stop this. If you want to continue to live in America, then you need to stop the bullshit. All right? Take personal responsibility for your own actions. Okay? And because if you don't do that, it's going to cost you in the end. It costs everybody else too. Okay? So with that note, I hope it made you think. Logicize, logic up. Okay? Start thinking and act accordingly. Because we are affected by this. See you next time.